Okay, we're going to learn how to simplify like terms. What is a like term? You can identify them when you see terms that have the same letters and terms that have the same exponents. For example, 3x and negative 5x are like terms. Why? Because they both share the same companion letter, which is x in this case. If that letter were different, or if one of them didn't have any letter, then they would not be like terms. The way to tell if two things are like terms is if they have the same letters and if they have the same exponents. If 3x has a squared in here, and that will make it a 3x squared, but negative 5x doesn't have a square, they are not like terms because they don't have the same exponents. If they had the same exponents, like 3x squared and minus 5x squared, then yes, those things are like terms. So like terms follow these two rules. They have the same letters and they have the same exponents. How are we going to perform operations with like terms? We're only going to add and subtract those things. We're not going to add or subtract things that are not like terms. Only like terms can be added and subtracted. And when you add them, or when you subtract them, you make sure to copy the companion letters. For example, if I add 3x plus 2x, the answer will be 5x. I only need to add the numbers, and the letter x, in this case, I just copy it. That's the way we perform operations with like terms. Now, if I had things that are not like terms, like 5x and 4, they are not like terms because the 4 doesn't have the letter. Yes, they don't have the same letter. Then we're not going to add them because the rule says that only we're going to add and subtract like terms. Only like terms. So in this case, the answer will be the same thing because we cannot add. So let's try to solve a couple of exercises to see how we can apply these ideas. So exercise 1. Let's say we have something simple as 5c minus 12c. What will be the answer for that operation? Well, because they both have the same letter, we just need to subtract them. 5 minus 12 will be negative 7. I copy the letter, and that will be the final answer for the exercise. Pretty simple. Now, what if we have more letters? What if we had 3a plus 4x, which are different letters? But not only that, we had minus 5a plus 7x. So if we have all of those operations, how are we going to find an answer? Remember, we're only going to add and subtract like terms. So what is the like term of 3a? 3a is like term with negative 5a. So I'm going to work with those two. 3a minus 5a is going to give me negative 2a. Then I'm going to work with 4 positive and 7 positive. So 4 plus 7, because they have the same letter, which is x, okay, they are like terms, I can add them. 4 plus 7 is going to give me positive 11x. And that will be the answer for the exercise. Why would this be the answer? Because this term has a letter a and this term has a letter x. They are different, so I cannot add them. It's impossible for me to add those things. If you remember on the last example, if we have operations with things that are not like terms, we just copy them and that's it. That's the final answer. So because they have different letters, I'm going to leave it like that, and that will be the answer for that particular exercise. Now let's try to solve another example. Let's say we have 8y plus 3 plus y squared minus y. Now, what happens in this case? The only like terms that we see in here is the 8y and the negative y, because there is no other y squared on the exercise, so y squared doesn't have any like terms. And there is no other thing that is only a number that doesn't have any letters, because the rest of the things have letters. So the only things that look similar are the 8y and the negative y. Now, we don't see a number in here, but every time we don't see a number with a letter, it means the number is invisible 1. Always remember that. If we don't see a number, it means we have invisible 1. So what are we going to do in this case? Well, we're going to add 8y. Well, we're going to subtract 8y minus 1y. So 8 minus 1 is 7. The answer will be 7y. And these ones, they don't have like terms. I'm only going to copy them because they don't have like terms. Plus 3 plus y squared. That will be the final answer, but in this case, we're going to try to organize these terms. We're going to order them. How we're going to sort these things? the ones that have squares or bigger exponents are going to be always first, like this, y squared. Then we're going to put the ones that have only letters, plus 7y. At the end, we're going to put the ones that have no letter and are only numbers, plus 3. If I order them this way, that will look better, and that will be the way we're going to answer this particular exercise. Now, let's do another one. What happens if we have negative x plus 2, but that 2 is multiplying something inside parentheses, 5 minus 3x. And outside of that, we have a plus 1. So what do we do in this situation? What will be the best way to proceed? Well, in this case, according to PEMDAS, we should work the parentheses first. If you remember, PEMDAS says parentheses first. Once we're done with parentheses, exponents, which we don't have any, then multiplication, right? So we're going to follow that order. What about the parentheses? 5 minus 3x. If you remember, you cannot subtract this. Don't think this is positive 2x. No, it's not, because the 5 is missing a letter. Okay? Remember, if they are not like terms, we are not going to subtract them. We only subtract when they are like terms. So I cannot do this. So I'm going to skip the P of PEMDAS because I cannot do anything else. After the P, we have the E of exponents. We don't have any exponents in here. And then we have multiplication. So we're going to multiply next. We cannot work with the parentheses, so we're going to multiply with the 2 that is outside. This 2 is multiplying everything inside the parentheses, so I'm going to multiply both things with the 2. If I do that, the answer I'm going to get is negative x, I copy it, and then I multiply. 2 times 5 will be 10 positive, and 2 times negative 3 will be negative 6. Now, what do I do with the x? I only copy it, and then I copy the rest of the things that are there. That's how you multiply things inside parentheses with a number outside. Now, once we have this, we can easily solve this exercise because we have 2 like terms in here and 2 like terms in here, right? So we're going to begin with this one. Minus x, remember, when you don't see a number, it means we have 1, right? So minus 1 minus 6. Minus 1 minus 6 is minus 7x. And 10 plus 1 is going to be 11. Always make sure that the letters go first, like the terms with letters. Yes, make sure this one goes first, and at the end you're gonna put the number that is alone. And that is how we are gonna find the answer for these things. That will be the answer because remember, they are not like terms. This one doesn't have an x, so you cannot add them. We leave it like that. Let's do another one. A final exercise to solve. Let's say we have 2x squared plus 5x minus 4x plus 3x squared minus 6 minus 1. This is a long one. So how do we perform these operations? Remember, we work only with like terms. Which are like terms in here? 2x squared and 3x squared. Those two share the same letter and the same exponent. So those two are like terms. So we're going to add them. 2x squared plus 3x squared is 5x squared. Important, I am not adding the exponents. No, I'm only copying them. Remember, the instruction is you only add the numbers outside, the big numbers, and you copy the companion letter with the exponent and everything. The next pair of like terms is 5x and negative 4x. So I just subtract them. 5 minus 4 is 1, positive. Now, I'm going to put positive 1, 1x. We're not going to put the 1, okay? This will be wrong. There's an unwritten rule that tells me that I'm never going to put a 1 when I already have a letter. That's why in the previous exercises, we don't put the 1 with the letter. The 1 always remains invisible. When we have letters, we don't put 1 with those letters. So 5x minus 4x is 1x. I just put the x. We already worked with this because we added this one with this one, so it's already worked. We're only missing this 2. Minus 6 minus 1, that will be minus 7. Now, these three things are not like terms because they're all different. That means the final answer will be that. Not only that, they are already organized. The exponent first, then the one with the letter, and at the end, the one that only is the number. So that will be the final answer for this exercise.